Welcome to State of the Arts. I'm Amber Edwards, and this week we have one of the best-known, best-loved jazz pianists of our time, Marian McPartland. She's currently playing in movie houses all over the country in the Academy Award-nominated documentary, A Great Day in Harlem. You may know her through her live appearances, recordings, or as the host of Piano Jazz on National Public Radio. But you may not have known that if you're a regular viewer of State of the Arts, you listen to Marian McPartland every week because she composed our theme music. Welcome. Thanks for coming today.
Oh, thank you, Amber. I'm so thrilled to hear my own tune. It's the first time I've heard it played.
Well, can you improvise on it a little bit?
I probably could. Yeah, sure. Sure, why not?
Oh, that's great. It makes me wish that I could play the piano, that we had two pianos here so we could do what goes on Piano Jazz.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Now,
That'd be fun.
how does that work? You're actually in a studio with two pianos side by side?
Yes, like I sit here and the guests will sit there, and then we have the microphone, and then I have a little table with all my stuff written down in case I forget what to say. And
was it your idea to do a piano? I mean, it's a concept that only could work with somebody who is a good interviewer, but also can improvise with anyone.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be either thing, Amber. I didn't know I was going to be a good interviewer, and I didn't know I was going to improvise with anybody. We thought that maybe it would last for a season or at most 2 seasons. And I mean, all of a sudden, here we are 15 years later, no end in sight. It's just fabulous. I'm so thrilled.
Have you run out of guests, and are you cycling back over, or I guess there's always someone out there to play the piano with?
There's so many pianists that I can't even keep up with people that I want to have. I mean, that there is no dearth of jazz piano players. And actually, we don't always have pianos. Sometimes we have vocalists, like we've had Tony Bennett and Joe Williams, and we've had saxophone players. We had Wynton Marsalis and his brother Branford, and so we mix it up. It's not only piano.
This movie that you are a part of, it's called A Great Day in Harlem, and it was nominated for an Academy Award. It's a marvelous documentary, it's really about a photograph, but it's also about all of the great jazz musicians of this century, really. And the photograph, can we bring up the photograph, and you can tell us how that photograph came to be?
You know, I have that photo in my house, and I guess I managed to get one from Art Kane a short while after it appeared in
the photographer.
Yeah, Esquire magazine in 1958 was when we did it on the steps of a brownstone in Harlem, and we didn't really know what we were getting into. It was just that we had this photograph call, be up on the 125th Street and Lenox Avenue at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I think for some people that was a god-awful hour.
For musicians especially, who are probably just rolling home.
Yeah, and I think, in fact, even my husband Jimmy didn't go because he said, oh, it's too early. And I went because I guess I'm an inveterate joiner or publicity hound or something. And it was great to see all my friends. I mean, it was like a big social event. And I was next to Mary Lou Williams, and Thelonious Monk was nearby, and so many people that I knew.
We have a clip from the documentary which is actually kind of, it sets up what you just said, sets up this clip, because I believe Thelonious Monk spent a great deal of time thinking about not only what he was going to wear to this, but very carefully positioned himself in a place that would attract attention, standing next to two women who were by far the minority in that shot.
There were only 3 women there: Mary Lou, myself, and Maxine Sullivan, and she was to the left of the picture. And we did talk, but not as much as Mary Lou and I did. You know, we were bosom buddies.
Well, let's see the clip. It's a good clip.
And if you look at the photograph, he also, in his own knowing way, decided to stand next to 2 lovely ladies, Marian McPartland and Mary Lou Williams.
Mary Lou was very fond of Monk.
Yeah.
Mary Lou.
Monk was fond of her, too.
Yeah.
She taught him. She taught me.
I really admired and revered Mary Lou and her playing. I always had before I ever met her.
In Kansas City, there's a pretty gal named Mary Lou, and she plays the piano in a manner that is all she knew.
Oh, I heard her records, and actually I started to learn some of her music. I play some of her things.
When you hear the saxes ride, who's the reason why they glide? It's the lady who swings the band.
Maybe almost her first job was with Andy Kirk and his Clouds of Joy, which of course was a wonderful band, and some of her arrangements that she made for that band, like Walking and Swinging was one. They were really great when you think she was only about 16 or something like that.
What was it like, and what is it like still to be a woman in jazz, which is a field that's so dominated by men?
It's funny, Amber, I never thought much about it, because before I came here from England, several of my role models were women, like Mary Lou Williams and Hazel Scott, Cleo Brown and Lil Armstrong. And of course I never had a problem, because I worked with my husband, and then I started with my own trio, so I was always hiring the musicians. So
you were in charge?
I was in charge, but I've never really felt that there were so few musicians. I guess because I know so many women musicians, especially now. There are really a lot of us around. I think the whole thing is evening out.
Well, in some ways you're kind of a double outsider, or I guess a double phenomenon, because not only are you a woman, you're white, and you're from England.
Well, that's what Leonard Feather said. That was the first review I ever got. Well, she's got 3 strikes against her. She's English, white, and a woman. And now I'm a senior citizen. Now I've got 4.
Now, as I recall, you had a very proper classical music background.
Yeah, sort of proper, but I really didn't study that much. I played by ear until I was in my late teens, and then my parents sort of decided, oh, well, we'd better let her take some music lessons. So I went to the Guildhall School of Music, but then I left and went with a 4-piano vaudeville act. And that, of course, demoralized the family. My mother
Humiliating.
My mother said, oh, I don't know what'll become of you. You'll marry a musician and live in an attic. Of course, that happened.
But you did all right.
Yes.
Will you play something else for us
Oh,
today?
I'd love to. You know what I could play for you, Amber? The tune that ended A Great Day in Harlem, Sweet Lorraine.
Oh, wonderful.
It was so beautiful.
Wonderful.
All right?
Bye.